Have you ever found yourself trying to make a change that you knew could have a bigger impact on you? Say, for example, cutting back on soda or getting to bed a little earlier or being cognizant about the way that you react to things. But despite knowing what you need to do, you find it very hard to actually do it. And I want to throw something out for you. What if the reason you're struggling is because you're actually focusing on the wrong thing? That's what today's episode is going to be about. Welcome to Unshakable Habits. I am your host, board certified health and wellness coach and habit implementation specialist, Stephen Box. And this is the podcast dedicated to helping you discover how to build simple, sustainable habits that boost your energy and productivity so that you can start to show up in 5 key areas of life: health, relationships, mindset, faith, and professional and personal growth. Time to take your habits from unsustainable to unshakable. So guys, like I said, today we're going to be talking about, are you maybe, just possibly, focusing on the wrong thing? Do you think that you need to change something that isn't really the problem? And this came from a conversation I had with someone the other day. They were saying how they know that their habit they need to work on is drinking less soda. And you guys may have heard me say this before, but here is the reality of the situation. Every behavior exists for one of two purposes. Number one is an expression of who we are, and I don't think anybody's drinking soda as an expression of who they are. And the other one is that it's an attempt to solve a problem. And it doesn't matter if it's the best solution or not, it's what we do. Now, when you think about soda, what is the main thing that soda is going to solve for you? And this person even acknowledged, yes, it is an energy issue. I drink soda because it gives me energy. And the more we started talking, the more it was, well, the reason I don't have energy is because maybe I'm not sleeping as well as I could. I'm not eating very much when I'm at work because I'm so busy. And so a lot of times I'm just grabbing something really quick. And so I really need the energy. So the problem for them wasn't really that they needed to drink less soda. It was an energy issue. So maybe they need to get more consistent with exercise and start kind of building up their energy that way. Maybe they need to focus on getting more sleep. Maybe they need to focus on getting higher quality nutrients into their day. Or maybe they just need to be able to plan to have food more readily available that they can eat at work that's going to give them that energy throughout the day, so that way they're not reaching for those sodas. And the thing is, I don't know specifically all of their details. This wasn't a client. This was just somebody I was having a conversation with. So I don't know all the details. I don't know specifically which one of those things they might need to work on. But I'm just kind of sharing this story because I want you guys to see that a lot of times we get so focused on trying to fix a certain thing, and we're struggling to fix it, and we don't understand the why. And the why here is actually quite simple. Because if your behavior is solving a problem for you, and you're trying to take away the solution to the problem, your brain is going to fight you every single step of the way, right? Because your brain's like, hey, we have a problem. We need a solution for it. We have a solution. Just because you don't like it, right? Just because it's causing you to put on a few extra pounds, just because it's maybe creating some other issues for you is irrelevant because it's keeping us going, right? Because that's what your brain cares about. Your brain cares about keeping you alive, which means you need to be alert unless it's time to go to bed. And so your brain, in this instance of using the energy example, is going, hey, we need that caffeine. We need that sugar rush in order to stay active and stay alert. So without fixing the underlying energy issue, this person's never going to be able to give up that soda, right? I mean, they could maybe force themselves to do it, but then they're just going to be tired. And then what's going to happen? They'll either go back to the soda or they'll find another coping mechanism that may be just as bad as the soda potentially. And so that's really the crux of this idea, is that we have to come up with a solution, right? We have to understand the problem that our behavior actually solves for us. And then we have to understand, what are the other ways I can solve that problem, right? Because if you do not take care of that aspect of it, you're going to continue to have issues. I mean, we can look at this in a lot of different ways. So, for example, and by the way, just really quick to share this. This is why I always talk about the idea of synergy, right? This is why I talk about synergistic self-improvement. Because if you are only looking at things one aspect at a time and you're missing the impact that multiple areas have on one another, you will completely miss this whole idea, right? Because like I said, with the energy thing, it could be sleep, it could be nutrition, it could be exercise, it could be that they're exercising too much, it could be that they're not eating enough of the right foods, it could be that they're eating too much of the wrong foods, it could be that they're eating foods at the wrong time and it's disrupting their sleep, they're exercising at the wrong time and it's disrupting their sleep. There's so many different things that can have an impact on those, and they're all interrelated to each other. And so that's why it's so important to be able to take this holistic approach and viewpoint when we're trying to solve these problems, as opposed to just focusing on one single thing. Oh, I want to lose weight, I need to cut calories. Soda has calories, let me cut that out, right? Because that's not really going to solve the problem. It might help with weight loss if you can actually manage to do it. There's other ways to lose weight other than just cutting out soda, right? So that's really kind of where I wanted to point this out. So to give you some other examples of where this might come, I had a client once who every time he would get off work, he had like a 2-hour drive home. And he'd get home, and the minute he walked in the door, his wife, who's been with the kids all day, about to lose her freaking mind, just so desperately wants to have a conversation with another adult that she just bombards him with everything that's going on that day. And his kids, who have been, bouncing all over the place, are so excited to see dad that they run up to him and they want to talk to him. They want to tell him everything. So this guy, who just got through this 2-hour car drive, stress levels are like to the max, is now walking into the house and suddenly being bombarded by everybody. And his thought process was, I just need to tell my family. I need to be able to have that conversation. This is what he came to me and said. He goes, I need you to help me figure out how to have this conversation with my wife and kids and let them know that I just need a little bit of time. Like, not much. If I could just have even 2 or 3 minutes, honestly, would be enough for me to be able to just kind of unwind and just kind of, just get home, get settled in. And I told him, I said, listen, I'm going to be honest with you here, man. I don't think there's a way you can have this conversation with your wife or your kids and it not be a problem, right? So we started looking at it. We started saying, okay, what's the underlying problem? What is this behavior that you're exhibiting, right? This frustration that you're having, this desire to lash out, because I might have left that part out, but that's what usually would end up happening, is he would kind of lash out out of frustration that he wasn't getting that time, and that no one seemed to respect the fact he had been at work all day and just drove 2 hours. And I said, what is this behavior that you're exhibiting accomplishing for you, right? You feel like it's setting a boundary. That's what he said. And the reality is, the real problem it was solving was, it was a stress reliever. You had a lot of stress. That eruption was just your body's way of getting rid of that stress. I said, so if we can find a way to get you some stress relief beforehand, maybe we can remove that. And so we came up with a very, very simple game plan, guys. I mean, when I tell you this, you're going to be like, wow, that is ridiculously simple. He had a place he could pull in down the street from his house before he actually got home. Just it was like maybe 2-3 minutes from the house. He pulled over and he just put on a song that he really enjoyed and took a couple of deep breaths and really just got into the song and allowed that stress to melt away. And then he got, started the car back up, drove home, or I guess he left the car running and drove home. And when he walked in the door, he didn't have that stress buildup anymore. It was gone because he had already released it. And so the moment he walked in the door, he was able to have the joy of his kids running to him. He was able to be present and hear his wife talking to him. And it just was a better situation for everyone involved. So where he thought he needed to set boundaries and have these difficult conversations, all he really needed to do was take 2 or 3 minutes out to listen to some music and take a couple of breaths before going all the way home. And he could have probably stopped in the driveway and did it if he wanted to, right? But that's the point, is that a lot of times we get so focused on the one thing that we think we have to do, the thing that we think is going to be the solution, but it's not the real solution, because what we're doing is we're solving the wrong problem. So hope you guys found a lot of great value in that today. If you did, I would really appreciate if you could leave us a review, and I'll drop a link in the show notes for all the places you could go do that on Spotify, on Apple, or on Podchaser. That would really mean a lot to me if you guys could do that for me. And of course, if you have any questions or you just want some help with creating these unshakable habits in your life so that you can take back control of your schedule, you can head over to unshakablehabits.com and schedule a free roadmap call today, and I will be glad to walk you through the process and show you how we can help you to do that. So next week, we are going to be changing the format just a little bit, and you're going to be seeing more short episodes like this. The plan is to do them daily, Monday through Friday. And I'm excited to share with you that next week we're going to have a special guest. And we're going to be talking all about what to do if you find yourself always busy, always doing all the things, yet also finding yourself always feeling behind, always feeling like you just can't get caught up. I'm going to have a special guest, Christine Jewell, the author of Drop the Armor, is going to be with us all week long talking about that. So make sure you guys are following and subscribe to the podcast. It is 100% free to do that, and that way you do not miss an episode. So guys, until next time, I want to remind you, as always, that while none of us are born unshakable, we can all become unshakable.